Hey, what's going on, guys? I promised you I would do a video on what I think is the best concealed carry, everyday carry pistol made, and I'm doing that right now for you. I'm in Fieldcraft HQ in Heber City, Utah. Don't forget the 27th, which is in a few days. We have a grand opening from 3 to 6 p.m. It's sold out, but me and Kevin Owens will also be teaching from 9 to 2 and then migrating right into a grand opening, which we're super excited about. So I jokingly did a poll and asked you what the best EDC pistol was, giving you two options, the Glock 19 or the Glock 19. So obviously I'm a fan. The reason I'm a fan of the Glock 19 is because I have a lot of combat experience utilizing this platform and seeing the durability and reliability of a proven pistol. The great thing about Glock is the simplicity of all things, including the action, which is tied into the trigger mechanism, the cycle of operation, the fact that it's single action only, no external safeties besides the trigger bar, which prevents you pulling the trigger without having a full finger on the trigger. That simplicity allows you to grab the gun from a concealed position, acquire a grip, and then use it in self-defense of your life. So I want that kind of simplicity when I think about carrying every single day. I don't like to complicate things. A lot of the things that people teach aren't based on reality, meaning understanding the neurological response to stress, for example. When we go automatically in an autonomic system into fight or flight, you don't have a lot of control, even though you think you have a lot of control, because you practice control on a range. So long story short, I want simplicity, and the Glock 19 is a perfect platform for that. So let me explain why I also think the Glock 19 is a good platform. When I give you the advice, when you tell me that you want an everyday carry pistol, I'm going to ask you a few questions. One, how big is your hand? The size of your hand comparatively to my hand is a good understanding of how you would acquire grip, manage muzzle flip, which is the upward rise of the barrel, and recoil, the rearward movement of the gun. If you have a small hand in comparison, I might put you in a Glock 43, for example, or maybe a Glock 43X carry, because I want your hand to be comfortable on acquiring the backstrap and the full circumference of the pistol grip so that you could retain control. That comfortability is tied into your confidence. If you could confidently hold a pistol, then you are more likely to train with it, which means you're more confident in carry and then the potential of you using that pistol as opposed to something that you're not comfortable with. Like the 1911 platform, for example, the fact that you have to drop a safety, a thumb safety, and acquire a grip safety in order to activate the ability for you to shoot the gun, that's problematic. If you've built confidence on that, then it's just what it is. It's muscle memory. But the Glock 19 doesn't require you have to do that. So beyond that, what I love about the Glock 19 platform as well is the size of it in carry. So if I take the pistol this way, it doesn't have an extended back strap, even though I can carry 15 rounds in a standard capacity magazine. This one, for example, is a non-standard capacity because this is actually a Glock 17 magazine that fits in a Glock 19 and gives you the capacity of 17 plus 1 in the chamber. Run a base plate of +2, +3, you're looking at 20, 21 rounds. That's a lot of rounds. So if I had that flush that looked something like this, that would be not a lot of signature, which would be available for you to print. The reason I advocate for carrying appendix carry, this is the Tenicor holster that we carry at Fieldcraft Survival, is that when I put this in a holster and I'm carrying it on the right side of my body, like so, then what it's doing is it's setting me up, one, to have the seatbelt running over my pistol, which is problematic because we're mobile often in our lives. Two, it sets me up for a position that is driving the gun over my thigh, which means if I sit, I'm literally driving the barrel of that into my femoral artery, which is problematic. But also, if I don't have a mechanism that's internal to the actual holster, like for example, ones that tilt the belt towards this, it's called a claw, then it's not going to pitch this and you're going to be exposed because you're going to have a lot of signature. That's why I think running center line is perfect for this. If I'm running center line in appendix, I'm not flagging my legs. I could be mobile by sitting down and being comfortable and still carrying the pistol. And I'm not flagging my femoral artery. Some guy debated us on a channel recently on Fieldcraft Survival saying that you're violating one of the rules of firearm safety, which is pointing your weapon at something you don't intend to destroy. Well, that's actually not true, because if I'm carrying appendix, unless you have a circumstance here, elephantitis or something, you're not going to be flagging anything. And I like that setup. One, because it's comfortable, and I'm more likely to carry that way as opposed to putting it here where it would be uncomfortable. I've carried years for that way, and it's problematic. Not only in comfort, but also positioning and trying to access that pistol, especially while mobile, while in your vehicle. So when I look at the Glock 19 platform, when I explain single action only, let me explain what that means. I have one action. I won't belabor this. This is not a class on actions, but I have one action, which is pulling the trigger that drops the trigger bar that allows me to shoot the gun. One trigger pull goes boom, no other actions. When you start getting too complex when looking at double action and single action pistols that exist, they have both, then it becomes problematic, part of the training sequence. So if you're a beginner especially, and you're picking up a pistol for the first time, I say start out with the right habit. Look, I'm not sponsored by Glock, never have been, but I've used Glock 19s, Glock 22s, Glock 17s in service, doing it for a living, right? I was in GRS, I was in SF, and this is what we carried. I was an 18 Bravo. Me and Kevin Owens' jobs were Special Forces weapons specialist. So we worked on guns routinely. You know how many times I worked on a Glock? 0. Beretta M9, which this replaced, every single one, I think. Probably 100 trigger bars, or what was the locking block. Problematic. Those things would fracture all the time, and you're depending your life on that tool, and this has been the most durable and reliable tool that I've ever operated with. Last feature about this that I think is important when thinking about concealed carry is the fact that it has a lot of accessories that are tied into this platform. This Gen 3, this is a Gen 3, has a mounting system for lights. I'm not a fan of running a light independently as an option. I like to have variability, so I like a standalone. Maybe you could run it on there. I just don't like gluing it, but you could have it on the light or on the mount. I also like all the accessories that are inherent to this, which include increasing trigger capability. These triggers, which stock run about 5 to 10 pounds, literally 10 pounds, even a New York trigger, which is a harder pull, you could get one kit that's a drop-in kit that's a 3.5 spring, trigger spring, a whole bunch of springs. There's 3 springs primarily. I don't know the nomenclature, so I won't bore you to death. But that could reduce the weight of what's felt and what's measured on the trigger. Now, that won't make it less safe because they're pretty reliable, but you can go down that rabbit hole. There are kits that I don't recommend, but a 3.5-inch connector with the spring kit, perfect drop-in kit that only costs a few bucks to modify this and make it out the box really well. Lastly is the ability to add base plates to these Glock magazines. This base plate, which is a piece of plastic, you can replace with a piece of metal that adds +2, even +3 rounds, or swap it out for a Glock 17 mag. This pistol all in, 500 bucks. With a good holster that's appendix carry, the perfect everyday carry platform, and something that I recommend. I've tested and shot them all. There's nothing more reliable than the Glock, just hands down. Now there is going to be debate, and I warrant that debate, and I'm interested in you guys' opinions. If you have opinions on the subject matter, leave comments below and let's talk about it. Look, I can't say I've never been convinced of going elsewhere. Somebody turned me on to the SIG P320X carry. I love it. It's more of a full-size carry. It's massive. but I think it's a very reliable and very good pistol. Make sure you guys leave comments, leave feedback. I love you guys and everything you're doing for Fieldcraft Survival. We'll continue to do these down the road just to educate you on everything that's the pillars of preparedness. Until next time, later guys.